When you become a citizen of the United States, you take an oath. You renounce allegiance to all foreign princes, potentates, states, and sovereignties. You swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath is not a formality. It is a legal declaration of primary allegiance. It is a commitment that has meaning. So here is a question that I believe deserves a direct answer. If you take that oath and simultaneously hold legal citizenship in another country, with its own obligations, its own allegiances, and its own claims on your loyalty, what exactly did you swear? In episode 7 of Words with Wentz, we examined what American law says about dual citizenship. The Supreme Court has protected the right. The State Department acknowledges it exists. The government tolerates it while not officially encouraging it. Tonight, episode 12, we go further. We examine the documented concerns that critics raise against dual citizenship, and I am going to tell you where I stand. The United States Department of State states clearly in its official guidance, dual nationality can create complications involving foreign obligations and allegiance. That is not a critic's talking point. That is the State Department's own language. Political scientist Samuel Huntington, in his 2004 book, Who Are We?, argued that national identity and shared civic culture are foundational to democratic stability. When transnational identities compete with national allegiance, Huntington warned, the cohesion that democratic self-governance depends on begins to fracture. Critics of dual citizenship ask a simple question. When two nations you hold citizenship in have competing interests, competing foreign policies, or competing military objectives, which one do you serve? The oath of citizenship says one answer. The second passport suggests another. I do not believe most dual citizens are disloyal people, but I do believe that a system which creates structural ambiguity about primary national allegiance is a system that invites problems it does not need to have. The national security concern is not theoretical. The United States government evaluates foreign citizenship, foreign financial ties, and foreign contacts as relevant factors in security clearance adjudications. The Congressional Research Service has documented this directly. Dual citizenship is a consideration that can affect access to classified information and sensitive government positions. Think about what that means in practice. An individual can hold dual citizenship and simultaneously hold a position with access to classified American defense and intelligence information. Their second citizenship creates legal ties, potential obligations, to a foreign government that may have its own intelligence interests, its own strategic priorities, and its own methods of leveraging the citizens it claims. Failure to disclose dual citizenship on a federal security clearance application is a material misrepresentation. But the problem is not just non-disclosure. The problem is that the structural conflict exists whether it is disclosed or not. We documented in episodes 3 and 11 how foreign influence can penetrate American institutions through legal means. Dual citizenship in sensitive positions is one of those legal means. In 2017, the Australian Parliament faced a constitutional crisis that most Americans never heard about. Several sitting members of Parliament were disqualified from office because they unknowingly held dual citizenship, violating Section 44 of the Australian Constitution, which prohibits dual citizens from serving in federal elected office. Australia made a deliberate constitutional choice. People who hold legal allegiance to another nation may not hold elected power over this one. Critics in the United States raise a parallel concern. A dual citizen who votes in elections in two countries influences the policies of both nations without living under the full consequences of decisions made in either one. Democratic accountability depends on citizens bearing the consequences of their political choices. When your legal life is divided between two nations, that accountability becomes diluted. And diluted accountability is a problem for democratic governance that no one should dismiss lightly. Beyond loyalty and security, dual citizenship creates documented legal and economic conflicts that affect real people in real ways. Military service. As we documented in episode 7, several countries with significant American dual citizen populations maintain mandatory military service requirements. Israel, South Korea, Greece, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland. A dual citizen who enters one of these countries may find themselves subject to military obligations that conflict directly with their American citizenship. The State Department acknowledges this explicitly. Dual nationals may be required to fulfill military obligations in foreign countries. Taxation. The United States taxes its citizens on worldwide income, regardless of where they live. The Internal Revenue Service requires American citizens abroad to file federal tax returns even when they live and work entirely in another country. Critics argue that dual citizenship creates opportunities for individuals to benefit from multiple national systems while avoiding full economic commitment to either one. The Library of Congress documents that several nations, including China, India, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore, restrict or prohibit dual citizenship entirely. These are not fringe positions. These are deliberate policy choices made by major nations who have concluded that citizenship requires singular commitment. I want to be precise about what I am arguing. I am not arguing that every dual citizen is disloyal. I am not arguing that people with meaningful ties to two nations have no legitimate place in American life. The Migration Policy Institute documents real benefits: economic integration, cultural exchange, civic participation. What I am arguing, as a paralegal who has read these documents, is that the current system has structural gaps that create documented problems we have not adequately addressed. People holding dual citizenship in nations with military service requirements should be required to formally resolve that conflict before holding sensitive federal positions. People holding dual citizenship should not be permitted to hold elected federal office in the United States without formally renouncing the competing citizenship. Security clearance standards should be strengthened, not weakened, when dual citizenship is involved. Australia made this choice constitutionally. Several major democracies have made versions of this choice. The United States has not, and the question of whether we should is one that informed American citizens deserve to be having right now. Citizenship is not a convenience. It is not a benefit package you collect from multiple nations. It is a commitment, a primary allegiance, a decision about who you are and what you owe. The documents are public. The law is accessible. The debate is yours to join. This is Words with Wentz. Know your rights.
Let the signal cut through the noise. Reading between the lines. Every story leaves a trace, unlocking time and space.